Hej, jag heter Anders. Välkomna till Glooko. Vi har sedan 2005 arbetat för att förenkla livet för personer som lever med diabetes. Vare sig man är patient, anhörig eller vårdgivare. För den som lever med diabetes är det oerhört viktigt att ständigt hålla sitt blodsocker i balans. Och som tur är så finns det idag mängder av tekniska hjälpmedel för detta på marknaden. På Glooko har vi skapat ett enkelt sätt att samla in, analysera och dela data från all denna utrustning. Vårt verktyg gör datan lättförståelig för patienter och enkel att analysera för deras vårdgivare.
Hej, jag heter Sebastian. Jag jobbar som UX-designer här på Glooko. Med Diasend Transmitter laddar vårdpersonal upp data från olika typer av utrustning. Med hjälp av vår mobilapp kan patienter få en snabb överblick över sina värden. Och via vår webbapp kan man gå in på djupet i analyserna.
Hej, jag heter Christy. Idag används Glookos produkter av 6 000 kunder och drygt 1 miljon patienter i 27 länder. Att arbeta på Glooko är verkligen att arbeta i en internationell miljö.
Goedemiddag, welkom bij Diasend Support. Waar kan ik u mee helpen?
Sí, ¿y cuál es el número de serie? Una vez más, S21.
Så om du tycker om att ha många bollar i luften, många järn i elden, gillar högt i tak, ser problem som möjligheter, inte är rädd för att kabla upp armarna när det behövs.
That was bullshit!
Ja, ni fattar.
Nej, där sa jag fel. 7 olika, nej. Vänta.
Jag kör några gånger i svep. Hej, jag heter Sebastian. Hej, jag heter Sebastian. Hur är hållningen och så?
Ja, men den är fokuserad.
Nu söker vi scheisse. Varför kunde jag inte ens sätta en sista jäkla ordet alltså?
Look like you're working and ask questions that you would normally ask.
So that is a movie describing us as also a recruitment movie that you could see. Short background about the logotypes you see here. So we have a context. Oh, here you go. Diasend was a company founded in Gothenburg 2005. We started at Chalmers. We had a reputation being the schoolboys from Chalmers when we travel around to different clinics in Sweden, trying to learn much more about diabetes and so on. We moved on to Sahlgrenska Science Park and was there for a couple of years during our journey. And in 2016, we merged with a company in US, our competitor, I would say. So now we have, together with them, we have offices in Sweden, UK, Germany, and US. In Sweden, we have development, marketing, and sales, and we are recruiting in this office now as well. Very short about the product. We are actually grabbing data from all the different devices you have in diabetes. It could be pumps, meters, continuous glucose measurements, and so on, and also these activity trackers that you have out there. We have approximately more than 1 million patients in the system, 6,000 clinics using our system, 15 languages, 27 countries, FDA approved and CE marked, and some other countries as well with a regulatory list. 2 months ago, we raised 300 million Swedish for continue doing all the developments we need to do in this area. Larger investors are Medtronic and Samsung, and then we have some other venture capitalist companies. We have several important partnerships. It could be pharma companies like Novo Nordisk. It's also Johnson & Johnson, both pharma and medical devices. So different areas we are working on there. Let me tell you something about Diasend and digital health when we started in 2006. Digital health, I think that was a buzzword coming out a couple of years ago. But instead of doing all the details, I think I would take one example of that year. We did a small pilot in Sweden with different clinics. Some patients were in it. We asked the clinic to talk to the patients once every month about their blood glucose readings and see what you can learn from that. And we will see what kind of results we will have. We did, and we had one patient. We had to do the evaluation with the patients, and we asked a lot of questions. How did you do? How did you like the system, and so on? And she said that I like the system. And then we asked, how often were you logged in to the website and used the information? She said 0. And we also asked, are you happy with the system? And she said, very happy. So we were quite frustrated that a patient saying to us that, because we spent a lot of time on this pilot. But she was still happy, so we didn't understand. We asked the nurse, how was the pilot for this patient in particular? And she said, it was very good. We talked to her every third week about the data. We asked questions, had good communications. We understood a lot of good things, and we improved from there. And then we looked at the outcome of it, and it was extremely good. A pharma company would never beat us on that. We improved A1C, that you have it's as a measurement in diabetes, from 9 to 7. It's extremely good. And then we talked to the patients. Well, you said you were not logged into the system. Yeah, I never used it, actually. I just uploaded my data. And then my nurse called me. I was out on the subway, and we discussed something, and I improved, and that was good. Fair enough, but it was 5 minutes talk, and she improved a lot. We took this information, came to the doctors, and said that this is a good system because we think that we could do an even bigger study with this in mind, that you change the care model about this data and information. The doctor said, yeah, but come on, guys. It's because you're talking more to the patients. You have more interactions with them. You're changing the care model. And that we said, yes, that's what we're saying. But from the doctor's side, that was quite negative because you're showing good results because you talk more to the patients. But then we described it a little bit more, and he understood that it could be good. Now it's 2017, what we are doing, more or less the same, but we have much more data. We're adding analytics to the system, also some kind of advice back to the patients and doctors. So all the patients or clinics are using the system a lot nowadays. What else from digital health could we learn? If we have this picture, and in different corners we have adherence for patients. I think we mentioned that earlier today, that it's a big problem. We could have one area that we say that we change therapy or pharmaceuticals. We could have one area that is saying that we have new and improved pharmaceuticals. If we should spend money, or as a payer spend money on something, where should we do? Should we ask the pharma companies to do new drugs, or should we maybe improve adherence, or should we change therapy? It's a lot of things there. I think we could do, if you have the system with the user, the data, and the analytics and so on, we could actually improve a lot. We understand adherence much more now than we did for 10 years ago, and so we can have the chance to do that. You could actually see if the patients maybe they are adhering to another therapy that is not right. So good adherence with wrong therapy, we could maybe make some changes there as well. So I think it's all about where you would like to spend the money and see how you can drive change in this. And of course, coming from my perspective, I think we can do it when we have the data and the users. I think it's also, for this day, we had some kind of text about implementation. When we started, we said that we need to have users, we need to have good stories. In order to have that, we need to have the clinics, we need to have money from investors to sponsor that and what we need to do. We come to clinics and say, hey, here's what we want to do. It was quite new for them that we wanted to have a universal system uploading data and show it on the web. They said, good to have, not need to have. No money in this clinic to pay for a system like this. We had actually no patent or solid business case, but we have actually a good gut feeling that this is something that is going to be good. But still, we kept on talking to clinics, talked to investors, and every time we did it, it was a lot of bad reactions. But we kept on fighting, I would say, and had some kind of success later on. So what I would say regarding implementation and how you have success stories and keep on using it, I think it's one key word would be perseverance. One example is that we said that in Sweden we need to have a lot of almost all type 1 clinics using the system. During 5 years, we had 100 clinics as customers. For us, that was a big effort, and it was a very good target to have, and we reached it 5 years after. We went to US, entered into a pilot agreement with Johnson & Johnson, and we were quite sad when they said, a good system, we would like to try it. We would like to do a pilot. And a pilot for us was, oh, come on, maybe 2 clinics, and then it takes 1 year and stuff like that. But for Johnson & Johnson, it was 200 clinics. So during 5 years in Sweden, we had a lot of energy into 100 clinics, but at this time, we had 200 clinics in a pilot. So we said, actually, okay, we can do it. 2012, another example. We had operations in UK for a couple of years there. At that time, we still have, and we're growing in UK. But 2012, we had trials in clinics in UK. I would say it could take 1 year for the clinic to sign a subscription agreement. It took so much time for them. They had issues with managers that had the right to sign agreement, etc., etc. But it was like that at that time. We kept on doing it, and we speeded up. We had more contracts and so on. And I would say if you find another system that's being used in UK next year in diabetes data management, just let me know. I will pay you a lot of money because I'm not sure that you will find it, because UK will be using our diabetes data management all over, I would say. So I think that was it's a change for 2006 to 2011. We did the pilot project from 2012 to 2018 next year, how we're using the system. So I think that's it for me, and thank you very much.
We've been talking a lot about implementation here today, and I mean, some are in the startups and in that area, but you have 1 million patients using your system.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're well implemented. What kind of obstacles what are the biggest obstacles you've had to clear to get there?
I think from the beginning, they were, because from their perspective, they used diabetes devices in another way in the clinic or in the healthcare, so they were not just getting them to accept that, I would say. To also see that how you could keep on doing it, even if you have only 1 clinic in Åstorp in Skåne or something like that, just to keep on doing that, and they will have them as a good use case and taking it for their way. We had a lot of problems 2008 with the quality, and we had actually cloud clinics that called us and say, yeah, once again, you're small schoolboys from Chalmers, but actually, is this the end of the company now when you can't solve the quality issues that you have? I think it takes some years there to just keep on fighting. I also think that if you go to Vitalis a couple of years ago, there was a lot of process of initiative, how you should do the IT security, etc., a lot of groups. We were not really involved in that too much. We followed it, but we understood that will take a lot of time. So it's better to just put focus on what we were doing and the passion about diabetes to solving that kind of issue. So I think that was the route we took, that it's better to just do it and have the clinics up and running instead of waiting for some kind of big society to take more decisions. But on a high level, I mean, it would be great to have payers saying something like, we understand that diabetes type 2 or type 1 is a big problem. How could we do it in a bigger way and pay per outcome or pay something like that? I think that's a good way to do or continue the discussions, of course, but also need to have the user base up and running.
So, I mean, if you've been back again at the starting point, what kind of support would you have liked to have had for your company moving forward? What would have made your journey easier?
Good question. I think more, if we had more investment that we could do clinical studies in a real way. We did it with small pilots because we knew some doctors, nurses, and they were happy users and friendly to us. Yeah. If we could have more support in that area, I think that would be helpful, I would say. But at that time, still diabetes clinics, it was very new for them anyway, so we still had to go to them and teach them and learn them about different things.
And I mean, if you were talking about here that the doctors didn't really see they only saw that the reason that they got the better results was because they talked to patients, and then they didn't connect that to your product.
No.
Really. But
True.
we're saying that it's only getting met because we're talking to someone.
Yeah.
And one of the things about changing healthcare is really that it's not, I mean, the product might be one piece of the puzzle, but really changing the way you work is the big thing.
Yeah.
So are you ever involved in that, or do your customers just buy your product, or how does that work?
More and more in some areas. In some countries, we are more involved in that type
Yeah.
of discussions. They are accepting that. In some countries, they have said, yeah, but you are a company, you don't deliver your product there, and we will use it, but we will not
By the door, and then
by
we
the
will
door.
and
Don't
go
step it
away.
over the line there. But now we see more acceptance of that we can be more involved and helping them, and they trust us to say that we don't just take their data and give to Transportstyrelsen, someone said,
Yeah.
but because we would like to be there as a part to do better outcomes, not just saying that we deliver data from your device into our cloud-based system. So coming more and more, I would say, and I think we could be quite proud and safe that we will do some improvements with the patients' data if we can have more a bigger part of that, I would say.
So that would be more about building collaborations and really have a more value-based system for.
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll give you one of these.
Thank you.